All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I'm Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. My guest this hour is Tommy HAWKSBLOOD, and Tommy is in Hawaii. Tommy has a couple of radio shows that he does, and he also, well, it's hard to explain what Tommy actually does. So we're going to get Tommy on to explain what he does. Hey, Tommy, welcome back to the show. Tell our listeners what you do and why you do that thing you do.
Greetings, everybody. Greeting, Rob. I've been involved with the UFO world and spiritualism all my life. Mm-hmm. I was doing hypnosis when I was 14. I became a high priest at 16. I was doing ghostbusting in New York City in the Juma Mansion where George Washington had his headquarters. I went into past life regression. At the same time, I was dealing with UFO abductees for a long time. And then I went into past life regression for a while. At the same time, I was doing native dancing all across the United States. I studied with a medicine woman for 25 years. And in the interim, I got more involved with spiritualism, trying to search for the truth, which I feel I found, and put it all together. So I'm at a place right now dealing with UFOs, and the UFO world's crashing down. There's so many lies in it. Spiritualism, I listen to these people talk. Nobody in the spiritual world that's considered the top speakers can talk about God. And it's just delirious, the people, where they're coming from, what they're saying. But for me, I deal with truth only. My show is completely, everything said on there is 100% what I know is truth, and my co-host as well. My co-host is Tina Bird. She's one of the top abductees in the world right now. More experience and more witnesses, more evidence than anybody else in the field. She put a book out. I mean, I've been trying to promote her book as well, but her story is incredible. I think you should bring her on one time too, because it's all her life. But recently, she was taken into the hospital. They cut something out of her stomach. They film everything in England. She's in England. So she went to see the video, and they said, oh, no, we can't show it to you. She had to go to court, and in court she asked to see the video, and they said, well, no, we can't show it to you. It's too controversial. A video of them cutting something out of her stomach. She wrote letters to Congress for 2 years, and she gets a letter back saying, oh, don't worry, they only cut a birth control device out of her stomach? That was like almost 2 feet wide? Really? I mean, I don't know how they came off saying that, and it wouldn't be in her stomach anyway. But on the interim, they did all kinds of x-rays because she's got all kinds of serious problems because she's radioactive. They won't admit that. She's losing her fingernails. She's losing her hair. She's losing her teeth. She keeps passing out. If she falls down, half of her body turns black and blue. And in the interim, on our show, I made her buy a Geiger counter, and we take it out every half hour, and she shows that she's radioactive. Now, something that's incredible, no scientist is getting in touch with us. I checked with a whole bunch. It goes up and down. Radiation doesn't go up and down. And I mean, if anybody deals with it, they know it's a steady thing. It doesn't go up and come down. It stays that way until it's gone, which is usually like 100 years.
Right.
So in a hospital, they keep saying, well, she's got a brain tumor. She's got this. They keep saying all these symptoms of different things, but they're not helping her. So I don't know how long she's going to be around. I keep saying, look, I pray for you. I know the aliens. There's always ships over her house. Any night she could go out and film a ship over her house and send it to me. So she's not making that part up either. I mean, I trust her more than anybody. I've been with her on the show for 3 years already. I don't have a lot of followers because I'm a rebel. I challenge every UFO person, every spiritualist out there in the truth. and not one of them has the balls to get back or answer me or debate me. I said, I'll debate you offline. We don't have to do it in front of everybody. We can do it online if you want. I'll challenge 10 of you at the same time. I don't care. I deal with the truth. I don't deal with stories like everybody else does in the UFO world. And it's driving me crazy because I listen to everything. I listen to Ancient Aliens, all the UFO specials, and they say the same thing over and over and over again. And they don't know as much as I do. And I keep, even the Skinwalker Ranch, I tried to get in touch with them. I joined the site. I was in it for almost 12 months. Not one of them would get back to me. I wrote them a letter every month. They wouldn't get back to me. Richard Dolan, I joined his site. I wrote him about 7, 8 letters. He won't get back to me. I said, I'm paying for your site, and you can't reply to an email? So I just canceled both of them. I mean, I'm spending all this money to talk to these people, and they wouldn't even get back to me. I was dealing with a friend, John Edmond. His ranch was called the Stardust Ranch, and there was a lot more going on there than the Skinwalker Ranch. And I went out there and everything else. I brought a person with me. We filmed UFOs, we filmed aliens, we filmed everything when we went out there. So I was going to try to give the Skinwalker Ranch some information, and they wouldn't even reply. Now they're going on tour around the United States, promoting this stuff they do. Now, and I can tell you, they're over a UFO. Whether the government's going to let them film that or show it on TV, I truly doubt it. All right, they're going through all these things, proving that something's there, but whether they're ever going to let them show what's really there, I don't think so.
Tommy, so, if you had the opportunity of speaking to Richard Dolan, what would you tell him? What would you say to him?
The first thing I would say, look, Richard, you go on and on and on with something that you have no clue about. You never saw an alien. You were never next to an alien. You were never next to a UFO. And when you tell a story, you're telling somebody else's story. I've been next to aliens. I've been next to ships. I've been involved with Bigfoot. I dealt with all that, for real. I've been dealing with it half of my life. I dealt with abductees that had their children taken. And you're trying to say, maybe there's aliens. Maybe we have people coming from other dimensions. Maybe. All the UFO people say maybe. All right? I'm beyond maybe. Tina Bird, who I deal with, has implants, had them cut out and all kinds of stuff. She's beyond maybe there's aliens. I dealt with the top UFO people for 6 years, from 1996 to 2002. Sergeant 18 and I filmed up in Wanakee, New Jersey, which is the most important UFO event that ever happened, and they can't even talk about that. Now, my ex-partner, Sergeant 18, he sold out. Now he claims he's an angel. So I lost contact with him completely. But we filmed UFOs every other night, 6 years. We put them up online. I was on Terry Cassidy's show for 9 months. We had so many followers and everything, but the government never got in touch. Well, we were supposed to meet Men in Black, and we went to a hotel, and we met 3 people. And they were going to give us money, which never happened. But one of them was asking me about spiritualism, and I said, aren't you dealing with UFOs? He goes, yeah, but I'd like to know. And then he turns around and says, look in my eye. He goes, they're watching us right now. They're listening to our interview. So he had a glass eye with a machine in it, and he said, they're filming what we were talking about. And they wanted me to stay the whole night, and I said, I can't. I have to go to work the next day. So I just stayed with them. I mean, we met the coolest people. And when I lectured around the United States for global sciences for 6 years with Sergeant 18, I met the coolest people in the UFO world that are now dead. All right? All of them. 2 of them are missing. One of them's in a nut house in Long Island. One of them's in jail, and one of them just got out dying. And he's probably one of the most important people. His name's Sean David Morton.
Oh, I know Sean, yeah.
Oh, he's a good friend of mine. I did so much work with him. But he went out to Area 51. He took people out there every 2 weeks watching the mothership come in. All right, they tried killing, they did all kinds of stuff to him in jail. It's so sad. I mean, he's almost a veteran. He just got out. His wife's taking care of him. It's so sad. He's hanging on. He was in a complete coma, came out of it. But his books are the most important books if you want to read anything about the UFO world. Stands of Time is the beginning, and he's got 5 parts to it now. But it explains exactly what government was doing, Russia was doing, and Germany was doing, and what the aliens were doing. We had major wars. I actually saw a major war, not a major one, but a war with aliens in Hawaii.
Whereabouts in Hawaii?
I was on Maui,
Okay.
right above my head. All right. I was filming UFOs for years now. And then one of them was just going across the sky, and man, it blasted it to pieces. Then, a couple weeks later, they showed something on the news. They said Russian space debris fell. I watched it. I filmed it. My camera was, my computer was stripped, but I had the ship coming across the sky, and I'm screaming, check it out, check it out. And then all of a sudden, it stops, and it shoots 5 rockets straight across the sky, and then it blows up. All right. And they said, oh, Russian space debris fell last night on the news in Hawaii. It's so controlled here. I tried to get up to the observatory and say, can we look? Oh, they're only allowed to look at certain things through the telescope. I talked to the people. Oh, we never saw a ship. We never saw. I could go out any night and watch the sky and see 10 UFOs. I said, you can't see one? It's just mind-boggling the covering up going on here in Hawaii alone. Well, we just got a big drone here, and they're testing bombs, dropping it with that. But we also have 2 different alien races here.
Oh.
Now, you go to the shoreline and you talk to the homeless people, and a lot of them that live on the shoreline see these green orbs going into the ocean. I mean, that's what. Hold on, let me just open this door.
Sure. Exonation, my guest this hour is Tommy HAWKSBLOOD. He is in Hawaii, and you're listening to the X Zone on Classic 1220 and streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. Tommy, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
All
I
right.
just have my little guy in.
Sure.
But so when I say here, the homeless people that live on the shoreline will see these green orbs going in the ocean or shooting out of the ocean all the time. All right. Another friend of mine in town here said he saw a ship. We have a nuclear base where they like geothermal plant. And he said he was watching at 3 o'clock in the morning with his whole family, and they were shooting beams of light down into it. All right. He was dead 2 weeks later. So I was trying to do things with him, and I could never follow up because he said he saw 3 aliens. They met with him in front of the post office in town, and at night. But again, the stories are incredible. Out of 1 out of 10 people see UFOs here, average. All right. 1 out of 20 have been abducted. I mean, the numbers are incredible.
1 out of 20, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. And the government won't talk about it. Nobody will talk about it. Because if they ever classified it as real, then the medical field would have to check people for being abducted, which they would never do. Then if they were sick, they'd have to treat them because the government didn't protect them. Now, Tina Bird, who I do the show with, keeps saying, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in anything. The government doesn't help me, nobody helps me. So she's got no support group. She's going through multiple problems with her body. So it's pretty sad the way the government, but then again, the government can't release what they're doing or what they did with aliens. And with Richard going, well, we're going to, all the top people in the UFO world are trying to make the government come out and say what they're doing. They cannot. They don't understand reality. They work with aliens in the 50s. They sold humans out to get trade for weapons. They can't come out and tell the world that. They won't admit that ever. So what's wrong with these people? And Richard Dolan has no clue to anything going on really in the UFO world. Now, I'm going to tell everybody that hears this.
Okay, what we're going to do, Tommy, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break here because I have to take my first break of this hour. And Exonation, Tommy HAWKSBLOOD is our special guest. And Tommy and I will be back on the other side of this very short break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. And welcome back. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. My guest this hour is Tommy HAWKSBLOOD, and Tommy is in the beautiful state of Hawaii. And and if you'd like to get a hold of Tommy, if you'd like to share some information with him, if you'd like to see his videos, his email address is hawksblood1@aol.com. That's hawksblood1@aol.com. And you're listening to the X Zone on the X Zone Broadcast Network and coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada on Classic 1220. And that is classic1220.ca around the world. All right, Tommy, let me ask you a question. When did you first start getting an interest in UFOs?
6 years old.
What happened?
Not that I wanted to.
Okay.
I was having my tonsils out with my brother in the hospital in Jersey City.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 3 of us in the room. There was like, we were in cribs, we were little. So they had to pull up sides on them and everything. My brother was on one side of the room. I was on the other side, and there was another kid on the opposite side of the room. And it was 12 o'clock. They were going to do the operation early in the morning. So all of a sudden, my brother's in the back of the crib screaming, "Tommy, Tommy, Tommy." I jump out of my crib, run over to the window. There's a beam of light shooting in the window, hitting my brother. I jumped in front of the window and put my hands spread out on the window. Don't ask me why I did it, but the ship shot straight back out into space. At 6 years old, I had no clue why or what was happening. All right, so that was the first opening the doorway to it for me.
Let me ask you something else here. Is it possible that your parents had also been involved with UFOs and ETs, and that you are some sort of hybrid?
No.
Okay.
I'm on a spiritual end. I know all my past lives. I know why I'm here in this lifetime. But the problem was my father was bad. He left us at 12. My mother was a victim of drinking. So it wasn't like they were on top of anything.
Okay.
I had so many things going on. But no, I'm not a hybrid. Aliens are afraid of me, can't touch me, can't come near me. When I was at Sergeant 18, he got attacked by an entity and started taking over him. And I did an exorcism on him. He goes, no, it's good. And I got rid of it, and then he realized it wasn't because he was working with a deity. And then the deity came back and said, why don't you challenge what came in? This light being came into his body, and he let it. And I said, it's draining your energy. And he goes, oh, no, you'll die. And I said, no, I'll get rid of it. And I did. But, when I was doing exorcisms, it's a little different. Demons are real, too. And now even the government came out and said, well, they think maybe some of the aliens are demons. In Congress, they said that last month. I said, is everybody going over the wall? What's happening to people? They're making up stories, they're twisting everything, and they're coming out with the biggest lies ever. I don't know if I know one person that's alive in the UFO world that can tell a good story, but I wanted to finish what I was saying.
I'm sorry.
Watch the video. Mm-hmm. All right, it's on the internet, it's online, it's been online for a long time. It's called the Alien Interrogation. It's real. It's not a dummy. It's not a setup. All right. Whitney Schreiber, who's a real famous guy, they only showed a couple minutes of it on TV, but Whitney Schreiber's in the background going, oh, what are they doing to the aliens? What are they doing to the aliens? But it was real because I have a friend that was his uncle was there when it was filmed. All right. They asked the alien all kinds of questions, and then the alien says, one person's going to destroy the planet. And they were trying to make him say who it was, but he wouldn't. But it was interesting because it's what one of the grays really looked like. There's 6 different grays. So when people say, well, it was big, tall, little, there's basically different sizes as well. There are grays that are about 5 feet, 6 feet. So it's not like they're all little.
And
so,
how many different species of extraterrestrials or aliens are there on this planet?
Well, we're dealing against 9. All right. Now, Putin actually came out, and this is no lie. All right, let me say this. In the UFO world, Bob Dean, who was one of the coolest people in the UFO world, is dead. But he came out. He worked for the government. He said then they were working with 27 alien races. All right. He's gone. Putin came out 3 months before Trump was elected and told Trump, tell the world what we're doing with aliens, because he said, we're working with 27 alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. And that's what Putin said to Trump. All right, so other countries aren't dealing with the same way we are, because on Russian TV he said that. And then he said it to Trump directly. So people, the truth is here. If you want to find it, listen to it. You want to believe all these famous people making money. You know, these people that get lectured at these conferences, you know what they get paid? $20,000 to talk for 2 hours. People. Or some of them might be forced to have dinner with you on a Friday night. Like people that know nothing, like Coast to Coast Radio and people like that. They know nothing. And they're people want to talk to them about UFOs. All they know is what people say. I did a show for 12 years with Teresa, but another person, and we did the show. In that whole time, we only had one person call in, and he goes, I was abducted, and he went in for a half hour, going on the details and everything. He goes, you dumb people, it was all fake. But, you know, there's always a fool or a clown in every group. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, in the time that I've been doing this, I haven't met too many, all right, which is a good thing. When I did my show with Stargell 18, we used to give away a gift every other week. To make sure that they watched our show, we'll ask a question. If they could answer it, we sent them a gift. But we had 50 people in our chat room every night. And then the next day we'd be hit by 1,000, 200, 1,300 people every morning. So Kerry Cassidy never watched one of our shows, and I kept saying, why in the world don't you? Well, maybe I'll bring them on. Maybe you'll bring them on. You bring all these whistleblowers that have no clue what's going on, and they talk and you believe them. I said, we got more proof of UFOs. We shot more pictures of every kind of UFO than anybody else in the United States up until 2004.
Tommy, right? with all the footage that you have of UFOs, did you try to give them to anybody in Congress during the congressional hearings?
Oh, no, I'm not dealing with Congress. I don't want to die tomorrow. But,
really?
In the interim, yeah, I mean, they want me. They know where I am. They know what I released already. Mm-hmm. We showed a video of a footage of an alien coming up to Stargell 18. All right. He offered it to a country, and they offered him $500,000. They saw it. They said it's too grainy. They're not going to pay him for it, so they had to give him $50,000 for it because they actually saw it. But again, I've been out there for such a long time, and if the UFO people won't even talk to me, why do you think the government's going to talk to me? You know, it's people that don't want to believe what's really going on. They want to believe the stories. Oh, well, there might be a base on the moon. Oh, there might be a base on Mars. Laura Eisenhower, did you ever have her on?
No.
Well, she claims she was on Mars with the president. So she's the granddaughter of Eisenhower. And she doesn't know half of what Eisenhower did. I had her on my show. We had 120,000 people listening to our show that day. Mm-hmm. And I said a whole bunch of things, and she wouldn't say anything to anything I said. And then the only thing she said, I got to bring you on my show, which she never did, because I listened to her show, and she's airy-fairy. Oh, everything's beautiful. We're going to change the world, and then this is going to No, aliens aren't going to help us make anything better. They only gave... I can go on about Tesla, and nobody else can.
Tommy, why are they here?
All right, I say the three big main things. Blood, semen, and ovaries. And nobody wants to hear the other one, food. So
it sounds like we are just cattle to
Animals,
them.
Cattle to them. Yeah. That's exactly what we are. Now, do you know Phil Snyder's story?
I think I do, but tell it to our listeners.
All right, here's a man that worked for the government. He was called to go into an underground base with 86 Green Berets. When he got down there was an alien army there, and they killed each other. 67 of the Green Berets were killed. Phil Snyder's the only one that got out alive. His stomach was blasted open, his hand was blasted off, and his foot was blown out. And in the interim, they said he committed suicide. All right? He was trying to lecture. He was lecturing around the United States for a while, and then they took him out. But again, his story was real. They said, oh, he committed suicide. He was wrapped in barbed wire, no blood around him, and it's just sad. Now, another friend, I don't know, do you know the original host of Coast to Coast? Fred Bell and Art Bell?
Yeah, sure. Art and I used to talk a lot.
Well, Fred Bell, I always thought was his uncle, but I became close to Fred Bell. Yep. Now, Fred Bell was friends with Billy Myers.
Yes.
And he started working with Billy Myers' alien friends. For real. So, he did a show with Jesse Ventura about 3 years ago. Wow, time's flying. Years ago, right before Jesse Ventura was taken off the air. And the opening scene, Jesse goes, aren't you afraid the government's going to come after you? And he goes, no, I work for the government. And then Jesse goes, well, what about me? He goes, well, you're too mainstream. They can't come after you. All right. Fred Bell was in the hotel room and died. And they never said why. All right. He didn't even leave the hotel after doing the show. But he was working on a HARP system. His book is incredible. His book's probably the most second important UFO book out there. It explains everything in detail if you want to know the truth. All right. And I met him. I was friends with him. He started selling things that Pleiadians made and things like that. His company just closed down. His family said, we can't keep it going anymore. He was selling nuclear reactors. I got one right there. You can't see it. But he was friends with the Pleiadians, and he was on their ship and different things like that. But he never bragged about that. He wasn't a bragger about that. And he didn't want to talk about it much because, once you say you're on a ship, then suddenly you're crazy. So I know lots of people. I just got in touch with another person who I want to bring on my show. Sent me 12 videos yesterday of things he shot. He shot a picture of an alien in the desert just staring at him. So I don't think he has a reason to make all this stuff to send it to me. And it's not like I'm going mainstream with his stuff. I don't put anything out there unless people really want to. But for me, I've been involved with this all my life. I'm 71. All right. I'm not here to make up stories. I'm not here to make money. All right.
Why do you do what you do, Tom?
Because I feel as long as I'm alive, I want to put as much truth out as I can. My one book is The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, the truth about Jesus, if people want to hear it. My other book that's coming out is for women only. It's to help women, abused women, how not to get abused and everything else. My first book was called How to See God. All right. So the truth is, we're not here very long. We reincarnate. Many people reincarnate over and over. And they don't even believe that or accept that. And that's one of the things they need to learn before they ever get out of here. And then remote viewing, which like Caroline Corey in the UFO world claims she can change DNA and she can levitate and all these things. She's playing God. But she put out 3 UFO movies in the past 2 years. And I said, look, if you ever want to debate the truth, please. But I know you won't. These people make money on what they say. And they're never going to give that up. Now, like in the spiritual world, Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle both make tons of money. Deepak Chopra is one of the richest people in the United States now. Did you know that?
Nope, I didn't.
He's a medical, new age meditation doctor, whatever. But he's the richest one in the United States, thanks to Oprah. I mean, I dealt with Oprah for 25 years. She won't reply to me. I said, give me 10 minutes of your life and I'll change your life.
Tommy, stand by. We've got to take our break at the bottom of the hour. Next on Nation, our guest this hour is Tommy HAWKSBLOOD. And we're talking about UFOs, aliens, spiritual truth, and much more. When we come back, we're going to talk to Tommy about what happened to him with his YouTube channel. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classics1220.ca. Tommy HAWKSBLOOD and I return after the break. Don't go away.
You got too far this time, but I'm dancing on the Valentine. I tell you, somebody's fooling around with my chances on the danger line.
And welcome back. This is the second hour of tonight's show, and my guest this hour is Tommy HAWKSBLOOD. He is in Hawaii. And if you'd like to contact Tommy, his email address is hawksblood1@aol.com. Tommy, if you're able to share with our listeners
About YouTube?
Yeah, and this is why I decided to get a hold of you right away and bring you on, because to me, this is, suppression of information.
All right. Now, I've been doing YouTube for years.
Yeah.
All right, which was fine. ever since they incorporated AI on top of their own people that analyze what goes on the internet, all right, certain words, certain this and everything else. I don't know what their words are. They say it's medical, and it's not. But okay, so I'm doing my show. I did about 6 in the past month. They took 3 down. They sent me an email a while ago, said if you say anything about medical, we're going to close you down. Then they said, oh, you did again. They blocked me for 3 weeks. And then they said, okay, you can have your site back. And then they said, if it happens again, you're going to get blocked for another 3 weeks. So I got a letter saying they're blocking me again for talking about medical. I said, I didn't use the word medical or anything pertaining to medicine. And they said, well, no, we realized you have your views and stuff, but we're going to close it down. Don't worry. We're only going to block you for 3 weeks. I said, block me for 3 weeks because I'm talking about the truth. I said, other people could say a lot of things on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. They show a lot of things on YouTube. And all I'm talking about is what's really going on in the UFO world and the spiritual world, and they don't like either. So again, I tried to find out who owned it. 3 multimillionaires own YouTube, which is actually owned by Google, and they're the rich people. Now Musk bought Twitter, and Zimmerman bought Facebook. So we got these richest people controlling the world of what we're allowed to say. But Musk is letting us say anything we want on his channel, on X now. So I sent them a letter. I said, can we actually show our shows on your channel? I mean, a direct link of my show being up and running and stuff. I'm waiting to get a reply on that one. But getting back to YouTube, I pay for it. I pay monthly for it as well. And I wrote so many letters to them. Then they said I'd have to send them my driver's license to make sure who I am, which They did. And then they said, okay, we're going to give you a show back. Remember, this is the second warning. Now they said your third warning, you're gonna lose your show completely. We're going to take it away from you. So now I'm at a place where if I do one little mistake, I lose my show.
So do you think this is extreme censorship?
It's over extreme censorship. It's ridiculous censorship. I said, do any of you people even know what an alien looks like or what it is? Do you know anything about anything? And you're saying that what I'm talking about is wrong? Mm-hmm. We have to make sure it's safe. Safe what? Safe to lie to people? Oh man, I've been battling with them for almost 3 months now, and it's like it's like talking to a robot. AI can't do anything. They got it programmed the way they want it. But they have to watch a video. Somebody has to sit there and watch it, but the AI just goes through it. It scans it real fast, and they come out, okay, it's censored. Why? Well, you said something about medical. I said, no, I didn't. Every time. But see, when you read their guidelines, you can't talk about medical, you can't put people down, can't attack people, which I love to do, but that's besides the point. I try not to do it on YouTube. I say, well, they're lying. I mean, I'm just saying the truth. Stephen Greer is one of the biggest liars in the UFO world. And I said, look, he might be trying to get me taken off as well, because he's actually being paid by somebody. I don't even think it's the government. But with him going on, we need to talk to aliens. I said, that's the most ridiculous thing anybody could come up with.
Yeah.
So but in that realm, I do about 25 letters a day to all these people. Not one of them will reply. I've been trying to get in touch with Oprah for 25 years. She won't. Now, some famous UFO speaker at the top of his field right now said he'd come on my show. So I'm going to try to see if I can get him to come on. I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to scare him away yet. But he said he will come on. He's the one that came out with the Tic Tac. All right? So I said, he goes, well, I got to talk. I said, you can talk about whatever you want, but come on my show. So he said, okay. You know what I said to him? I said, how come? I said, why don't you grow a pair of balls? He goes, I have a pair. And I said, okay, then talk to me.
All right, guys, now tell me this is a family show.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right.
But that's what he said. And he says, okay. And then I said, talk to me. And he goes, okay, I'll come on your show. And that's when he told me he will.
Tommy, with all the evidence that people around the world have gathered over the years about the UFOs being real, why won't the government just come out and say, you know what, you're right, it is real? Or why don't the aliens just land smack dab on the front lawn of the White House, the Parliament Hill in Ottawa?
No, wait. That all sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, if you were an alien and you had a pig farm in your backyard and a cow farm over there, would you go down and say, hey, pigs, you want to do this? Or, hey, cows, you want to do this? They don't think we're much better than they are. Don't forget, they're thousands of years more technology than we have. So for them, and they don't have feelings and emotions, so they don't care about how we feel or what we think. So why would they come down here to talk to us?
So why would the government allow them to be here?
They can't stop them. I told you, we had 3 major wars in space and 3 major wars on the ground. We do know how to kill Greys. We do know how to kill reptilians. All right, they due to trade, we got information they probably didn't want us to have. Tesla worked with an alien race. He was given 50 deadly weapons that the United States government has, including an earthquake machine. All right, directed energy beams. All those things came from Tesla. So now we're going to release a UFO this year. The United States government, it costs $40 billion, has every weapon known to man on it, and it will make the United States #1 again. That's what I see happening once they release it. But again, they can't come out and tell the world that they can't protect them.
So why would the aliens just work with the American government instead of the Chinese, the Japanese, the Russian, the French, the German? Why just America?
It depends how they work with them. China, they're concerned about going to the moon and putting people on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Musk wants to put people on Mars.
Right.
But our government doesn't want to talk about trade of weapons. All these weapons that we have now. If we go to war, the United States could take out the whole planet. And that's in a very short time. Not with nuclear bombs. We don't need nuclear weapons anymore either. See, the technology that the U.S. My brother was a chemist during Vietnam. The weapons they had then were incredible. And they were considered chemical weapons, which is actually illegal in warfare.
Right.
Not that Israel and other countries are still using lasers and everything else.
Mm-hmm. But if the Americans had all this technology during the Vietnam War, how come they lost?
We didn't lose anything. We just left. We left 49. Wait, how much? And I could tell you a whole story. I don't want to waste my time on it, but my ex-girlfriend was in Vietnam. She was on the front line.
Mm-hmm.
She went back in 1994, found a prison camp of U.S. citizens. They had all our name tags in a building. They hate the smell of the white race. And basically, she came back to the United States. They met her on the plane. The government did. They took the name tags away. And she had 2 skulls as well. They actually said to her months later, "You want to go to the family and tell them you found their body?" And she says, "No way." But she went back to create a school and a museum and everything in Vietnam. And that's when she was shown all these things. And she actually was taken up to the 2 prison camps. So, yeah, there's so much going on that way. The government can't say, well, we left. I mean, do you remember when Rocky came out with the movie where he went back to Vietnam and he captured the prisoners?
No.
They got the prisoners out of Vietnam. Well, that was based on what really happened. So, we see things, we don't accept things, we don't believe things. But again, the government's not going to tell the world that they're working with Greys or reptilians because basically they're destroying mankind and they will destroy the planet. Tesla wasn't too bright. He created a time travel machine, which very few people understand is real. And I was friends with Nick Baggage, all right, who actually was the only person that I know really went back in time. And that was the whole Montauk, Philadelphia experiment. So I was with him up until the week, 2 weeks before he died. But he was offered $4 million to go back in time because somebody died when they went back the first time. And it rearranged government, and they had to go back and replace the person that was killed and not killed.
Oh, wasn't Nick's father the senator from Alaska?
Nick Baggage?
Yeah.
I didn't mean Nick Baggage. Al Bulick.
Ah, you said Nick Baggage.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, wrong person.
Yeah.
Nick Baggage. Yeah, I'm friends with him, but he doesn't believe there's a HAWK system in Hawaii, which we have too. Mm-hmm. People are stuck in their little world. They don't want to expand to the truth. Not lies, not stories.
But then tell me, Tommy, why is it some people like you have had all these experiences, and yet there's people, I would say the majority of people, never have? What makes Tommy?
Here's the way I would explain it for myself. I was given every gift that you could imagine on this planet. Mm-hmm. I was empathic for 2 years. I had 5 death experiences. I spent 45 years traveling out of my body. I was shown all my past lives. Now, what happens is people don't want to realize this statement, and I'm going to tell you straight out.
Okay.
This whole lower world is controlled by Satan, not Lucifer. And people selling their souls to drink and drugs, everything else, is not because they need to. All right? They get what they want here, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you name it. But they don't get anything spiritual. Nothing spiritual has been created in 100,000 years. I mean, we had the gladiator system going on all through history. Everything is just a war. Nothing was ever about peace except for Atlantis. And I could tell you all about Atlantis, which was the only time this planet was at peace. But the other thing is, when the human races were brought here, all right, was Atlantis. Not before, not after. So when people say the Anunnaki created humans and all the ridiculous stories, because a person writes something down all in ancient time frames doesn't make it real or true.
But what about God? What about the Bible?
Well, the Bible is written by man. God didn't come down and write a Bible.
You're right. It was the first 4 books were written by Moses.
And Moses was the highest black magician on the planet.
Moses was black?
No, black magician, not black.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right, because he actually came up the mountain and had 3,000 people killed. He walked his people around in circles until they all died. People don't understand that. The 4th generation that was brought to the promised land were all the children. When they got there, they killed all the people that were there. And that's in the Bible, people. And they don't even read that. All right? So, Moses couldn't go there. Why? People don't even know. It's not written in the Bible. Moses wouldn't write that down. He was a killer. You can't go to heaven and be a killer. So he couldn't write that in the Bible, or he wouldn't have if he wanted to. So the facts are there. I was with Jesus when he was alive, people. I wrote my book and True Teachings of Jesus.
Hold on. Back up here. You were alive with Jesus?
Mm-hmm. I was a female. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. I could debate anybody on what they say about Jesus. Oh, he didn't really die. He didn't do this. He did. He died. You couldn't prove what he was teaching if he didn't die. You can't tell people how to come back if you can't prove it to them. When he talked about God, at that time frame, there was no gods. They just took energy and statues, and that was all God to them. They didn't have a real God. So when Jesus came, he talked about one God. The Egyptians, the Mayans were all dealing with aliens. They had no clue to a real God either. Go back to the first religion, which was Hinduism. Shiva and Durga were the biggest gods here. Little gods, I call them. They weren't God, but they played God in the lower realm. And they're real. So, I work with Shiva. I work with Green Tara. I work with them as well.
Hey, Tommy, I hate to do this to you, buddy, but we've got to take our final break. And Exonation Tommy HAWKSBLOOD is our guest this hour, all the way from the beautiful state of Hawaii. And you're listening to the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Tommy and I return as we wrap up this hour right after this break, so whatever you do, please don't go away. And if you'd like to send me an email, xzone@classic1220.ca. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Tommy HAWKSBLOOD is our guest. And Tommy, first of all, thanks very much for coming on the show. Always interesting to talk to you. You've got so much under your belt, my friend. Where do you get time to relax and just be Tommy?
Relax. I'm in Hawaii. I didn't go to the ocean to go swimming in 3 years.
Wow.
I'm on my computer at least 12 hours a day. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm writing. I just finished my last book. Well, the last book I just finished. That's my 5th book I put out. And basically, I do at least 2-3 shows a week. Mm-hmm. And never mind, I have to write all these people a letter. The second I hear them, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to say people's names, Gary Nolan. But people that I deal with and try to write letters back to. But I want to get back to YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to go to Brighteon. I'll probably be putting my shows up on there soon. I know I'm going to lose YouTube soon anyway, but I'm going to lose thousands of shows I did. I doubt my couple people downloaded a lot of my shows, but I don't believe in past. I believe the present. What I said 10 years ago isn't as important as what I can say right now, because that's 10 years of experience that I have that I didn't have then when I said it. So my first book came out about 22 years ago. My last book came out about 3 years ago, and this one's coming out in a month or two. So yeah, I keep my stuff present. When I talk about right now, not last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter, because right now we're in the worst condition this planet has ever been in. And this one I want to put out there real fast. Nobody in government, nobody out there in the Save the Planet, Save This, is talking about any real problem that we have that's causing it. Why is that? I challenge all these people, and they can't answer it. Oh, well, yeah, fires, okay, earthquakes, volcanoes, yeah, but what's the government doing? Nobody talks about what the government's doing to cause the problems. Putin said he wants global warming. People don't even know what that is, really, why it's happening, what chemtrails are. They don't know any of this. I bet if you got everybody in Congress, put them in a room and ask them a question what the HARP system is, they couldn't answer it. So we got brain dead, whatever. We got people that are just too old, doing things that they shouldn't be doing because they're not aware of what's really going on.
But these people are put there by the people. They're voted in. And this is what the people want.
I don't understand that. Trump's against global warming. He's against, he wants to go back to coal. He's against a lot of things. He doesn't like the native people, and he pretends he does. I mean, I can go on. But people say, well, freedom. We don't have freedom. We don't have free speech. Musk is the only person giving everybody free speech right now.
And even then, if he's true to the cause like everyone else is, there'll come a time when censorship hits that as well.
Oh, sooner or later he's going to get bombarded by the government, because I could say whatever I want to Trump, and I do. I mean, I could say a lot of things to a lot of people. Yeah. Like Richard Dolan, people like that aren't on. You could say bad things. You can say whatever you want.
But listen. I understand you're frustrated. I understand it rubs you the wrong way. But you mentioned Dr. Greer before with a kind of a negative connotation. Why?
Well, he's one of the biggest liars in the UFO world. He came out and said the government offered him $3 billion to walk away from the UFO world. I said 2 people I know personally killed 144 people because they were in the service. Another one, and a really, really famous person killed 43 people for the government for nothing. And they're going to pay $3 billion to take out Stephen Greer, who doesn't know anything? Really? He never was next to a real alien. All right? And he's going on about talking to aliens. He said every alien's good. There's no bad aliens. Does he know about abductions? I was dealing with people when I was 19 and 20. Women that lost their children. Well, it's pretty scary what's going on, and everybody wants to believe whoever's mainstream out there. But a lot of people think he works for the government. I don't think the government would pay him because he's saying ridiculous things every which way.
Tommy, what is your take on the lunar landing conspiracy? That there are those who believe that America never went to the moon, there are those who believe they did, and there are those who just really don't care. Where does Tommy stand on that?
I call the people that don't believe it the same as the earth is flat, call them the flathead people. All right? We went to the moon. I saw a video of the other side of the moon, for real. Mm-hmm. There is a base on the other side of the moon. One of the astronauts filmed it. All right? So when people say, they didn't show everything, because the United States said they lost all the pictures, and Japan goes, don't worry, we have them all, without the blotches and the scratches and all the things removed from the pictures they shot. But, people want to think the United States is pretty dumb, and they're not. UN agenda is bad, but when you talk about MK12, they're the cream of the crop. They know everything that's going on this planet in detail, and they are actually cause and effect of it. So, we don't want to know that aliens are going to come here and eat us. How many people want to know that? Like you said, what are they here for? We are food for them. When they went into Phil Snyder's base, they found 1,400 skeletons of humans. They can't eat through their mouth. They put them in a vat and turn them into liquid, and they drink them through their pores. I saw a video of that even. People, you want the truth? No, you don't.
Wait a second. There was somebody who was talking about beneath the place in Los Angeles, the art gallery. What's it called?
Oh.
Anyway, apparently beneath that, there is an alien base, and the aliens, according to him, drink a human slurry.
Well, they do. All right, but here's the thing. There's an alien base next to every army base on the planet.
That's a lot of bases.
Well, there's a lot of aliens coming here. Like I said, I could count in a half hour to an hour, I could usually film 10 UFOs. All right, and they're not satellites. Satellites don't do certain things. I had a UFO blink at me 120 times. All right, it wasn't a satellite, it wasn't a drone. All right, I had a UFO that I shot a laser at it. It was a white ship going by. I hit it with a green laser. It turned green for about 5 seconds. Then it turned white. I hit it with the laser again. It turned green again. I don't even know how that's possible. I saw things beyond most of the really cool things I never got to record, though. That's the way it is. And the other thing is, people, if you're trying to film aliens and UFOs, they know you're filming them. Just so you know, they have telepathy. They can read your mind. So they know what you're doing. If they want to be filmed, they can be. Now, the most important thing next to what happened up in New Jersey, the #1 UFO event, was when a ship landed in a schoolyard. All the children and 2 teachers went out, and the aliens went next to them. All right, nothing bad happened. The ship took off. Mm-hmm. But nobody wants to give that credit that aliens really came and landed. So a ship landed in my backyard. I mean, I've been dealing with that all my life. And these people, well, maybe there's aliens driving these ships. Maybe. I mean,
I think the problem, Tommy, is that a lot of people are saying a lot of things, but nobody can give any proof to substantiate any of their claims. I'm not talking about you here, but right. I'm talking about other people out there.
You know the old saying, do you believe in God?
Sure.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe anything? If you don't have that experience, you can't believe it. If you don't know Jesus, how can you talk about him? Well, he's good. He protects me. He said, no, he doesn't. That's not what he came here for. Do you even have a clue what he was teaching? You can't teach love. Oh, he taught love. No, you don't teach love. You can only show love. You can't teach it. I mean, all the stories, if you have a brain and sit and think about it. Oh, you're protected. How come your car just ran out, and a kid ran out in the street and got run over by a car and killed? Oh, this happened and that happened. Where's your protection? And then they can't answer that. Oh, God must have blinked his eyes or something. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Again, they won't answer any of that. But then again, I said, you didn't read Revelations. In Revelations, if you're a Christian, John, who wrote Revelations, says what sins can't be forgiven.
I thought Paul wrote Revelations.
John did.
Okay.
But again, when it was written, he wrote what was really going on. And then he wrote prophecies. He wrote the world would be controlled by demons. There'll be more false prophets here than ever, which there are right now. And he said the most spiritual path will have the least following. And that's true today. Muslims and Christianity have like 60% of the planet.
60% of the planet.
There's 25 billion Christians and 23 billion Muslims. I mean 2.3 and 2.5, sorry. All right. So then the Hindu religion's a lot less, and then you go down, it's 2,000 religions, so break it down by the religions, and it's just less. I mean, I did all my numbers. I did my search. I did. When was the first word love was ever mentioned? Love did not exist before Jesus came here. Nobody even knows that. It wasn't even mentioned. It wasn't mentioned in the Ten Commandments even. It wasn't mentioned in Moses' 63 laws that he came out with. It was never mentioned. Compassion was a word, but love wasn't. Women were always slaves. I mean, then they're kind of half up until the 20s they still were.
And that was a shame. That was a crime. You know, I have always been one to say that when you look through history, whenever a woman was in charge of a country, that country did well.
You know, the Native people always had a woman, medicine woman, elder, say whether they go to war or not. Mm-hmm. But you know who ended up killing Geronimo and Crazy Horse?
No.
Sitting Bull. He told them they had to go surrender. They both did. Crazy Horse went into the jail and they killed him. And Geronimo, they kept alive 15 years riding around the United States as a puppet.
That's right. I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
It's sad. I was close to the Geronimo family.
Well, wasn't he part of the Bill Cody Wild West show?
Well, not really. He wasn't. No, he wasn't the one that they had other people doing that. He was the prisoner tied up there as the I don't know how to use the words, but he was a victim of captivity.
Right.
All right. And then when they let him go, he fell off a horse and died.
Unreal.
What a sad ending for the most powerful native chief ever. Crazy Horse didn't get a chance. He was young. He was in his 30s when they killed him. Geronimo got to live a little bit longer in his life. But the number one thing who I've been fighting for almost ever since he was put in jail, Leonard Peltier. I marched on the UN years ago, and we were surrounded by FEMA people with machine guns. No lie. So when they say a riot, you know, we had to sign up for it, register it. We weren't allowed to carry one thing on our body. We were only allowed to carry paper.
Right.
So now these people, when they come with a backpack and everything else to a rally, that would be pretty outlawed if you went to register your rally. So you can do things right in this world, but people don't want to. And people think that they can get looting in and everything else, and can get a whole bunch of free stuff, which they do. Look what they're doing in New York City. Look what they're doing. People with no morals, don't care, don't believe in God, a real God. It's sad. And aliens don't either. So they're not going to come down and try to help us any which way as well, if people think that's going to happen anytime soon. All the things I dealt with, we were dealing with entities. I dealt with demons. I did exorcisms and stuff like that. It's crazy what's real. But people, oh, that's not real. The Exorcism, the movie, was real. It wasn't a girl, it was a boy that went through that. So the new one that just came out is just as gory, but it's based on real facts that actually happened.
Tommy, I hate to do this, my friend, but we've just run out of time for tonight. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, Tommy. Always a pleasure. Do me a favor. Take care of yourself, my friend.
Okay, I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.
Bye-bye, Tommy. Take care. Aloha. Bye-bye. Exo Nation, my guest this hour has been Tommy HAWKSBLOOD. And if you'd like to contact Tommy, his email address is hawksblood1@AOL. And yes, it was truly John the Elder who wrote the book of Revelation. I just thought I'd see if I could, kind of get a little bit of a rise off of Tommy, but I didn't. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. So from everyone here at the X Zone and Classic 1220 here in St. Catharines, always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. From everyone here to you, good night.